And in the middle of Los Andes, I was passing through, and a downdraft pushed me into the snow and made me flip the plane. And I spent 27 hours with snow shower and crazy survivance episode.
Welcome to the Coffee and a Hanger podcast. Today I sit down with my friend Que Parodi, founder of Patagonia Bush Pilots, a flight school in Argentina. Que has only been flying for 6 years, and in that time, he's built his flight school and logged some serious off-airport time. We talk about his rapid progression, what it's like to fly Super Cub around in the Andes, and some hard-learned lessons through first-hand experience. We also talk about his travel-in fly-in, a unique opportunity for Alaskan and US-based pilots to escape the winter and go to Argentina, where it's sunny and warm, for an Alaska-style backcountry flying experience. Enjoy. It's cool to have you in Alaska, all this stuff.
Thank you.
Very, very, very good. I guess what I'd like to know about you a little bit is, did bush flying exist there already and you just kind of plugged into it? And what's your role in the whole thing? So when did you start flying?
I started flying 6 years ago.
Okay.
I became from the snowboard world. I was a pro rider for Barton, Argentina. And in 2017, I hurt my shoulder, my career getting to its end. So I was looking for what is my next step, what I should do. So I sit on the couch, I put play on YouTube, and this video, Bush Pilots of Alaska, appear.
Do you remember who was featured in the video?
Yes, Paul Claus.
Paul Claus.
I saw his video with his team talking about freedom, Super Cubs, wilderness, and this idea came into my mind so deep that I understood what is going to be my future. So Patagonia Bush Pilots appear after Bush Pilots of Alaska. And I finished my private pilot license. I bought my first plane, a Cessna 152, and I started flying like I see those as I saw those videos, like in the wilderness, trying to land almost everywhere, wishing to have a Super Cub someday. And this idea was growing until what is now.
But that's only 6 years ago.
I know.
So lots happened.
A
lot has happened.
Wild and crazy and fast.
Okay, I've got a lot of questions about how this all happened. Let's go back to the snowboarding. How good of a snowboarder are you? How professional? When you say professional, what does that mean? Were you making good money doing it?
In Argentina, we don't live from sports. If you're not a soccer player or a tennis player, it's not easy to live from sports. We were paid. We were using new equipment every year. We travel. Our thing was compete and make movies and pictures for magazine and all those things.
Okay.
That was our professional world.
And so, like, where would these magazine pictures or movies be shown? Like in
the biggest one, it was called Surf the Crater. In 2011, this volcano, huge volcano that is called Pushehue, make eruption, and my town was 60 centimeters. I need to make the calculation in inches, but this amount of ashes, the entire town was
60,
covered in ashes.
That would be like 25 inch, 30 inches or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Wow.
It was huge. It was something really, really catastrophic. So we made this movie going to that mountain to make snowboard inside of the main crater, while they still go in lava from the back part of the volcano. So that movie
you're
was
snowboarding down into the crater?
Yeah.
Or not, or on the outside of it?
No, inside of the crater. The lava was getting out from the outside of the crater.
Yeah. You seem like a smart guy to me. You do seem like you have above average intelligence.
Okay.
Why in the heck?
Because
I'm only kidding.
Because inside there was no lava, but could appear, but well, was
so maybe a little bit more dramatized than it was.
Exactly, it was part of the story too.
Yeah.
And that video was international. Jake Barton saw that video, invited us to Vermont to his house. Was amazing. It was one of the most beautiful movies we made for doing snowboarding. Right. After that movie, 2 years ago, 2 years after that, I moved to another town, and my life started changing until I get into aviation. So when I met this guy, Jake, he says, your stuff is really good, but you need aerial shots. So we started searching for helicopters, and they were super expensive in Argentina. Meaning
your movies are really good.
he says that he liked
Okay.
what we.
So you were producing these yourself?
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. Snowboarding get me into drones. We start filming with drones.
Got it.
Start develop drones, building drones in Argentina. Was hiring by investigation center to develop a drone for wood fires, and I get some money with that.
So it's like a forest fire?
Forest fire drone.
So it would be like to spot forest fires or look at
Exactly.
them?
Well, 2 cameras. This was in 2015. Yes, 2015, I believe. There was no Matrix, or the only drone at the moment was the Phantom. 16 minutes flight, 2 kilometers. And I developed that drone that was called Phoenix 3D. That could fly 40 kilometers, 40 minutes. I gained a lot of money with that. And I start into aviation world with that money. I bought my first plane.
That was my question. How do you get funding to start this? Your dad gives you a bunch of money?
I gained my money building drones.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So snowboarding into drones, drones into aviation.
How did you get the expertise to build a drone? I mean, did you have an engineering friend that you kind of hired?
My dad was electronic engineer.
Okay.
So at the age of 4, I was welding cables.
Got it.
So by myself. That's the.
So you made this thing by yourself?
Yeah.
So what are some of the things you need to learn? You need to know about how to do radio controlled things.
Basic electronics.
Did it have like a gimbal where it kept it stable, or was it kind of a fly? You have to
The
harder
first
to
one
fly.
was a toy that was called AR drone. I don't know if you heard about that. Was a drone that you control by iPod.
Okay.
Super rustic one. That the camera was so shaky that we cut it. We put one GoPro 2, and to compensate the weight, like a piece of a fishing rod with some coins on the tip. And we made this first really good paid video for Mercedes-Benz. At the beginning, DJI.
For Mercedes-Benz?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the beginning, DJI was producing parts for drones, not just only drones. So we start buying the flight controller, the motors, the IMUs, and all those stuff. And we trying to shape the drones to have bigger gimbals, bigger cameras, more autonomy.
And then at some point, that's not a viable business anymore because DJI is making a way.
You cannot compete with that
multi-million
business like DJI or those.
So there was like a window there of a few years, but you could make a lot of money in a short period of time. So you made a bunch of how much money did you make in a?
No, for me that at that moment was like 70 grand, but was a huge amount of money for me at that age and in Argentina with a different value of money.
How old were you at the time?
Yeah, I was 32, I believe. 32, 33.
But for Argentina, and so you could buy a 172 or
yeah,
something?
I bought that 170 for
170?
Yes, 42 grand, I believe. But I bought it with a friend, so I spent just half of the money. Yeah.
And then you get your ratings, and how did you parlay that into what you have today? Are you the owner of Patagonia Bush Pilot Flight School?
Yeah.
Do you have partners?
My best friend Federico that bought this first plane with me is owner of half of our 172 XP, and he's owned 70% of one of our 150s.
Got it.
Then I don't have.
You just keep buying. You
I
earn
every single dollar that I gain, I put it into the business. Now we do cargo, we do taxi, we're a flight school, we have a workshop. In Argentina, you need a workshop to work into planes. You cannot touch a plane if you're not part of a workshop that needs at least 3, how do you call the mechanics here?
AMP, certified IA?
Exactly. You need 3 to make a workshop. And you cannot
And a workshop is like a repair station or something?
Repair station, annuals, maintenance, whatever you need to do in a place.
And what do you say you need 3? Is that the regulation?
Yeah, it's part of regulation in Argentina. So
you guys are what we would probably call either repair station or something.
No, it's
maybe not a repair. A repair station is an FAA certified place to do repair.
FAA in Argentina is called ANAC.
A what?
It's ANAC.
ANAC?
It's almost the same.
Okay.
But instead of being called FAA, it's called ANAC.
Oh, ANAC.
This is a certificate. It's like an FAA certificate workshop. Well,
got it.
That is what I have over there.
Okay.
So I can. Why I did that? Because it's cheaper, and I'm sure that my planes are in really good shape.
Yeah. So you have 3 mechanics at least.
Yeah. I really have 5 and 2 engineers, but you need at least 3.
And an engineer is like a level up from mechanic.
Yeah.
So that must be like our IA or something, maybe.
I don't know what is that.
Interesting. Okay, well, that's cool. So you've got a certified shop, you've got a flight school, and you say you do cargo. Do you have the equivalent of like what we would call a 135 operation, or is it?
It's 135. Yeah,
It's like a 135.
It's exactly the same because in Argentina it's called rack, and here is FAR.
So 135 is like you can do commercial, non-scheduled flight.
Exactly.
And how many airplanes do you have now?
We have 2 150s. We have 172. We have right now 3 Super Cubs, and we are trying to buy a 206 right now.
That's for the cargo.
Yeah, we're doing cargo with a 172 XP.
Mm-hmm.
We need to move into a 206.
What do you do? What kind of cargo do you fly down there? Like, what are the uses of that?
Move food, fuel, animals, chickens. I have some videos moving chickens. You know that if you put some chickens into a bag and you close the bag, the chickens didn't move? I didn't know that.
They suffocate.
They suffocate no, because they can breathe through the
Oh, like a mesh bag.
Exactly, but they don't move. I flew with 20 chickens.
So you just put them each in one bag?
Yeah, 3 per bag.
Okay.
It's crazy. And I took people in and out from. We have the longest mountain range in the planet. You know that Los Andes is the longest mountain range in the entire planet. And I have some customers.
What mountain range is this?
Los Andes, the Andes.
Oh, the
Andes.
Los Andes.
Los Andes.
Okay, yeah, the Andes. That's all I would say. Okay, I know what you're saying. Okay, sorry, I didn't understand. I apologize. My ignorance.
It's okay.
I've heard of the Andes. Yeah.
Okay, well, the Andes is huge.
Yeah.
And we have these customers that have fields inside of Los Andes, and the only way you can get in and out is by plane or helicopter, right? Planes are cheaper than helicopters, and they hire us to bring in and out people, food, medicines for the animals.
And what's the purpose of owning this land?
These people are one of the most richest guys in South America.
Okay.
This guy bought a huge piece of land in Chile that divides the country in 2 pieces. So
wow.
And he keep that like in a perfect and untouched area.
What is the term for that? It's a preservationist.
Preservation. That's
okay, so you're telling me you're doing cargo work for preservationists that own land in the Los Andes mountains.
Yeah.
And you're flying in supplies for their caretakers.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
You get it. I was doing that when I flipped my plane. That's the story that you know, and I believe you want to know more details about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I was flying with a student with my XP by the coast in the Patagonia, and the propeller started to shake super bad, so I have to land by the shore in a beach, like super steep beach, and my propeller was destroyed because I hit the ground landing. Next week after that event, I need to make this cargo flight, so I did it with the Super Cub, and the weather was not the best. And in the middle of Los Andes, I was passing through a flat mountain that is an amazing spot for landing in summer, with this lake, 5,000 feet, beautiful, beautiful view. And a downdraft pushed me into the snow and made me flip the plane. And I spent 27 hours with snow shower and crazy survivance episode.
You were surviving out there.
Hey guys, we'll get right back to the interview, but first, let's talk about the easiest way that you can support us in making more content like this. One of the most overlooked weight savings you can do on your aircraft is seat upholstery. In addition to losing an average of 5 pounds and as much as 45 pounds in extreme cases, redoing your seat upholstery will make you more comfortable while you're flying, add value and curb appeal, and can even have added safety margins. We'll talk about the safety features in another video, but for now, let's focus on weight savings. Some old aircraft were built when the upholstery and foam technology was, well, still using horsehair for cushion material. Not to mention that a lot of seats have several layers of upholstery stacked on top of each other. All this can add up to significant weight savings. This customer saved 8 pounds on just his Cessna 170 pilot and co-pilot seats. This customer saved 11 pounds on his Super Cub seats.
You just put these seats in Jack's Cub,
We saved, what did we save?
11 pounds.
11 pounds.
Just go show over 11 pounds.
That's pretty awesome.
And this customer saved nearly 20 pounds just on his 180 bench seat. Comment light below and we'll get you an estimate on what you could save on your aircraft.
You were surviving out there.
Yeah, man.
What kind of boots did you have?
Pretty similar to this.
Are you kidding me?
No, pretty similar.
What was the
Pants,
temperature?
shoes. -3 Celsius, -4.
So about 20 degrees.
But it was super windy. First shower, then snow. I didn't have my surviving mosquito with me. It was crazy.
Tell me more about that. So that night, so is that the story is you hit a downdraft.
Was a downdraft that I was flying with Daniel, one of my friends, the one that was doing this kind of shot before I started doing it. And he was flying 6,000 feet. So I was climbing to reach him. He said, "Keke, it's super bumpy here, so let's go down and fly over. Plataforma is the name of this mountain." So I descend and I was trying to reach Daniel from my roof for a long period of time. I believe 30 seconds or more. I was like searching for him like this. And as soon as I face forward, my left wheel touched the snow and I flipped the plane in a second.
So it wasn't just a downdraft, it was that you weren't watching where you were going.
Of course, I was paying attention over there, but I didn't feel you. There's different type of downdrafts. You can enter in a downdraft that makes you boom, and you can enter in a downdraft that you cannot feel in your body.
Yeah.
I was inside of one of those.
So it was a gradual,
super smooth gradual. When I saw the vertical speed indicator, I was 700 feet descending. And I didn't realize that. And the wheel touched. I still feeling all the energy go into my left knee, like a front flip. Super fast, like.
Very lucky that there was snow there, probably.
1.5 meters of fresh powder.
That's very
over
lucky.
a frozen lagoon. Yes, that saved my life, and the helmet saved my life too.
Is that the only time you've ever wrecked an airplane?
I had 3 episodes in my life. The first one, I sank that plane, that Super Cub, into a lake. I was flying low, and one guy came to my right, so I start forward slipping the plane until I get out of fuel. So instead of changing from one wing to the other of the tank, I close the fuel. And I have on my right side a forest from the water to 500 feet over me.
Yeah.
And I cannot reach the other coast. So I decide to land in the water. I didn't scratch the plane. I didn't make a mark, nothing, but the plane sank completely under the water.
You could have switched it to fuel on and would have been fine.
I believe. Yeah. So now I have both.
By the way, this is what I do, is I ask people to tell about their most humiliating experiences.
Yeah.
And then I laugh at them.
Yeah.
This is my whole podcast.
But it's perfect. And it's good for people to
learn.
learn. My friend Daniel wrote this book that is Toward to the Clouds. And it's really good because you have a lot of stories of pilots that had problems and how did they solve those problems.
Can I ask you a question about Daniel?
Yeah.
Is he like a mentor to you?
Yes.
And he's been flying there for how long?
I believe for the past 40 something years in his 180. Yeah.
And you say he's the first?
He's the first I met. The first guy that was flying into the mountains, landing in not easy spots. Yeah. He was kind of
How many people do that kind of flying down there?
3, 4.
3 or 4?
Not more.
See, it's just so hard for me to understand.
It's crazy. This is new in Argentina. This was like something that people didn't pay attention on. We bring this new culture of bush flying, mountain flying, that you can land a plane in a place that is not an airstrip.
But he was doing that long before you came along.
Yes, but in a different way.
Right.
From airstrip into airstrip.
What kind of airstrips is he going into? When we say airstrip to airstrip, my friend Mike Meekin, who is a legend around these parts, he flies up into the Talkeetna Mountains, the Chugach Mountains. The airstrips he's doing are 400 feet long.
Yes, they're short.
Canyons.
They're short, they're technical.
And a lot of them, maybe he put them in, or someone, like they're very unimproved, but they are strips in that you can see them, because the tracks have been there enough times that you can see them.
No, Daniel made one of the most beautiful airstrips in Argentina. It's called Lake Cholila.
Okay, I've seen that one.
Well, that
He
is
made
one of
that.
the most beautiful for sure. You can land by the lake or by
And
the
that's
river.
a proper strip. I mean, that's a runway.
That's a runway,
Yeah.
a perfect grass runway like that grass.
Yeah.
Perfect. The type of runways that you have here with that soft gravel that you cannot land with a small tire because you're going to sink in that gravel, they were not doing that before. They wasn't doing that before. We start doing that with the big wheels, with the cabs. As soon as I bought my cab, I start doing the things that I was watching in the video. So
Yeah.
people get the feeling, people start buying aircraft like that, came into my flight school to learn what I learned. And now I could say that at least 20, 25 people
Have
all around the country are training to become pilots of this type of flight.
Yeah. So
This
you're
is
kind
really
of
new.
starting a new thing.
Yeah. We made in my town is called Trevelin, and it's the only place in Argentina that you can land in the backcountry off airport flying.
Okay, we talked a little bit about this, and it confused me, the term town. Because a town, in my opinion, is like Palmer over here, which is like a 5-mile span of real estate. And there's nowhere in the town that you could even land an airplane other than the airport. So what does that mean, a town?
When I said town, in Spanish we call ejido municipal. That means all the land that is part of that town, city, or wherever. Yeah, we call town because we have 70,000 people living over there. It's a small group of people living.
Yeah.
But the area is huge.
Part of the thing I was thinking about that would be really interesting for this podcast is to give people an idea of what it's like down there. I'm sure it's just like up here in a lot of ways.
It's pretty similar.
Yeah.
It's pretty similar. The trees are different.
But the rules of flying and stuff is what I'm
in
interested in.
Trevelin is exactly the same as in Alaska. We made the law with the people from the government.
Got it.
And I pushed to get Alaska rules into Trevelin.
So like, what are the rules, for example?
The rules are, if you want to land in a private place, you need the owner to allow you to land on that place, but you're allowed by the rules to land over there. You cannot, right? You cannot do aerobatics over the center of the town. In public areas, you need to be allowed by the municipality to land, even in the roads, the fields, in the top of the mountains. And we already get that permission with the law. So you can get into Trevelin and land in the peak of...
So you don't have to go to the government and get like a permit to do it? Got it. So you just do it.
You can go like Bob did and do it. We were landing with Bob.
And are all these, so Bob Breeden posted a bunch of videos on his Instagram of places he landed down there. Was that within your town?
Yeah.
Wow.
Most of the places.
Because that looks huge.
It's huge.
You're talking about the size of something the size of like our mountain range here.
It's like Talkeetna, Wasilla, Palmer, Anchorage.
Got it.
And almost Valdis.
So you got plenty of area.
Yeah, with no people. Patagonia is... In this video that I told you that is called Bush Pilot of Alaska, Paul says true wilderness. And that is what I have there.
Yeah, what Bob shared on his Instagram, I think, is really good because he kind of went down there in the way that I would want to go down there and been like, okay, when it's winter and cold up here, I want to go to Patagonia.
That's the idea.
And I want to get a Cub down there and I want to fly. Can you maintain that thing and take care of it for me if I buy a Cub down there?
It's the idea. It's what we are trying to do. For you to came there and from people from Argentina to came here. Because we have the two meccas of this. We are trying to make the platform perfect for people that wants to bring their plane into Patagonia or have their plane in Patagonia to come and fly the winter of Alaska or the States into Patagonia. And we're trying to have the environment here in Alaska for people from Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil to come here and fly bush flying here.
In Alaska.
Yeah.
So like a
Patagonia, Alaska.
student exchange program of sorts.
It's like experience exchange program.
Yeah.
One thing is
Yeah.
like I lived it, the Alaska experience,
Mhm.
and another thing is like Bob did it,
Yeah.
Patagonia experience. Seeing Bob in Patagonia like a child in Disneyland was like, this is gonna work. If this guy that really flew around the planet, that really spent hours and hours and hours on the planes, enjoy my background like he's doing it, it means like you're gonna like it, he's gonna like it, everyone is gonna like flying there. And the same, I was flying so much there, and I came here and enjoyed so much this freedom and this aviation community that I believe that every single person that I could bring from South America to Alaska is gonna have the same feeling that they have. So I found this perfect balance between summers.
Yeah.
South America summer,
Dude, I'm all about it.
you're gonna be perfect received over there,
You
and
never have to deal with winter again in your life. So,
No,
okay.
I used to live in winter. I used to love winter. I used to pray for snow. Now, I don't want more cold snow. I just want to fly and land new places.
Well, what about ski flying? I mean, ski flying opens you up to even more places. I mean, I can land 1,000 more places within a 10 square mile area.
No one is doing it in Argentina. Bob gives me his skis, so I need to send it to Argentina and start.
Is it
training
wheel
that.
skis?
No, they're straight skis.
Well, do you have enough snow down low in the
Yeah.
winter?
Yeah, I prefer to fly summer.
Well, but dude, when you get on skis, I think your mind will change.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, I will try. Why not? Okay, that's Treverin. That's my town.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you can see here, this is my airstrip, this is my hangar. Can you zoom in?
Wow.
This is my
Huge
hangar.
view.
Yeah, you can see Patagonia Bush Pilot over there. I bought this land 1 year ago, and we're making an air park over here.
So you're the only
Yes.
hangars on this. This is your strip.
It's not mine. It's from the town. I'm the chief of the airstrip. I take care. You can see here the lines of the stall competition. Can you see the numbers on the lines? This took hours and hours of work. Our area is, I'm gonna make like a circle, but it's not a perfect circle, right? It's like all this.
Oh man.
It's
wow.
really huge. It's huge. Desert, high altitude, mountain range.
Are those, I mean, they look, this over here looks like flat ground compared to the Andes.
This is at least between 5,000 and 6,000 feet.
And is it, what's the variation? Are there mountains? Is it pretty,
It's
like a couple thousand feet of variation or something?
This is pretty similar to Reno, Nevada, or something like that. This is pretty similar to Alaska, this area. This was the lagoon that I flipped the plane over.
Oh, wow.
This is one of the airstrips that I used to do cargo flights. This is like the Kinnick, but 1/3 of the width.
The width,
The
yeah.
width. This area is pretty similar to Alaska. It's amazing. It's more windy.
More windy?
challenging.
More windy?
Yeah, the wind is something in Patagonia. You have more snow here. We have more wind over there.
What are you basing that on?
Where the high and low pressure centers are moving. When 22 knots or 25 knots, the air is extremely bumpy. Extremely bumpy.
Of course.
With
Yeah,
this
it's coming
with
off
this
the
thing,
mountain.
I make my head bleed several times flying.
Mm-hmm.
Winds is all about high pressure
Yeah.
and low pressure,
Yeah.
and how the air is moving from one direction to the other. And over there, the winds move fast.
Are they usually coming off of the big mountains?
They usually came from the west, from Chile. They leave all the humidity on the Chile side, and they move from the valleys into Argentina. The
That
worst
would make it very turbulent on your side.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never flew in Alaska with that turbulence. I have
Oh, you go
100
fly down on the
hours only.
peninsula or down southeast and stuff.
Maybe,
That's
for
where-
sure, you're going to have those winds.
Yeah.
But there you need to fly with wind. If you don't like to fly with wind, you're going to fly.
Yeah, different parts
Short
of
time.
Alaska have different. The Alaska Peninsula is known for high winds, but in parts of it, it's also very laminar. if that, you know,
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so the laminar flow is something that,
High wind with laminar wind is something really good and
yeah, it's
fun.
nice.
And you
Yeah.
can fly backwards.
But what it
Oh.
sounds to me, if the winds are coming over the Andes, coming over like that, of course, your
They
whole,
hit the mountain and the direction of the wind start to go.
it's going to be crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
That is what we have. It's not like we have 100 miles winds. We
Very
have
turbulent.
40, 38, 55, but the winds is going like crazy. You have like a half moon mountain range here. We have a super high line that it's blocking all the wind that is coming from the Pacific Ocean. So when it blows from the west, that is almost all the time, all the air that came into my country was going through all those mountains. So it's not more laminar. From 7,000 or 8,000 feet to the ground, the air is like
Yeah.
moving. It's like when you
You're
stand
in
by a
road-
river and you see the water hitting the rocks. Like,
Yeah, it's, I mean, you're on the lee side of a mountain range. It's going to beat you up.
exactly.
Very cool.
It's cool when you understand how to read that.
Yeah.
Because the air is something that you cannot see. But if you understand the physics of that air and you understand the direction and the strength, you could see something that is not possible to see. It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool.
Okay, so did Daniel mentor you in flying? Did he take you
No, at the
out?
beginning he was like mad with me because I was
Okay.
showing stuff that no one was showing before.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of people angry with me at the beginning because my thing was making snowboard movies, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as I move into aviation, I start showing people the things that I was seeing people in Alaska was doing, landing in gravel bars, peak of the mountains, and all those things were not well seen in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
So Daniel was one of the guys that said me, hey, be careful, you're gonna die if you're still doing those things.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
I always try to be respectful with them because they were seeing something that they only seen in the Alaska movies before. And now this new guy is doing it here. So I could understand that part. When I was a professional snowboarder, I had this theory that if I want to land a really hard trick, I should try it at least between 6 and 8 times. If I could handle the heat of not landing it perfectly, I will do it. And then this 40-year-old kid came and in the first try, he made an awesome jump. And some part of your ego is like, why? But then you understand that if you coach that person, if you give all your knowledge to that person, you can turn this guy into a machine. This guy could be maybe the best of the world. But not everyone can accept that. And I felt that at the beginning, that I was the new guy. I was pushing in a different way. I was trying to fly in a different way that they were used to. And at the beginning, they didn't like it. But now, they are my team.
From my perspective, I want to be really honest with you. The videos and everything, you have this air of sort of a Red Bull, sort of like you making videos. Like it makes sense to me that you were initially a snowboarding guy that made snowboarding videos because your flying looks like that to me.
Okay.
And I, from my perspective, I would say, and I'm not saying this is how it is, but initially when I see someone that sort of goes at aviation in a way that's more like you would make snowboarding videos, I say it's not a good thing.
Okay.
Because aviation is such a dangerous thing.
Of course.
That it requires a reverence, that doesn't come from that. And for people to have fun with it, I think in that way and kind of appear to be loose and sort of carefree with it, it seems unsafe. And so
I could say that aviation is risky, right?
Yeah. So of course it's risky, but our job as pilots is to have as many options and risk. So the lower you fly, the less options you have, for example, and things like that. So have you changed any of your tone on that from the beginning? When you started to now, what things have you learned that you were like, well, in the beginning I would do this and now I do this?
Oh, so many. I would need hours to to tell.
Can you
all
give me a
about.
couple of things that you would tell your younger self?
What I can say is the way that we took risk.
Yeah.
One thing is to close your eyes and take the risk. And another
Visualize.
thing is to study the risk you're going to take.
Yeah.
And
And that's how you do snowboarding. You're visualizing your trick.
I remember myself to be stand on the line before the hit and making the move that I'm going to do after I hit the jump.
And you close your eyes.
Exactly.
And
Visualize. It's like you are connecting your brain into your muscles and your body language, I don't know.
yeah.
The same is in aviation. If I want to go and touch the wheels into the water because I feel that it's cool, I will not go straight and do that. I will make my plan to learn to be completely sure before my wheels touch the water. It's not like a crazy risk that I can close the eyes and go into that. I'm going to make my own plan that is going to make me feel completely sure before I do something that could be really risky. Because in snowboarding, you can break an arm, a leg, a knee, wherever.
Mm-hmm.
In aviation, you're going to die. The risk is higher.
So what you're saying is you use that same strategy when you got into flying, though, because I've always wondered that. You see these guys doing tricks in snowboarding or skateboarding or, whatever it is, where they're doing a bunch of flips and they're upside down 6 times in the thing or whatever it is. You go, well, how would you practice that? Because if you land on your head and break your neck and you're dead.
Exactly.
So people that do those kinds of what would be considered to normal people like me, very risky activity, they're experts at taking risks and figuring out how to do something before they do it the first time.
How to get into what they want without risk that they cannot go back.
Yeah. Without killing themselves. Basically.
It's like you think, what is your goal? I don't know. Water ski. What should I do to do that in a safety way? First was understand the physics, yeah? Mm-hmm. In Spanish, we call tensión superficial, surface tension on the water. As fast as you go, the water feels more
solid,
yeah? So first understood that. If you don't understand what is that, you cannot go and touch your wheels into the water because you don't understand what is the physics of what you're going to do, right? Mm-hmm. Then, if I understood that as fast as I go, the water is, how do you say?
More solid.
More solid. I start doing into the airstrip, into my home airstrip.
Yeah.
To touch it as smooth as possible, to keep the wheels with speeds, to keep the wheels into the ground, hit and see what happened if I fell and if I hit hard, and practice. Time makes everything. There's this says in Spanish that with money and time you can make a cow to fly. I don't know if you have something like that, but
yeah, that's a great saying.
If you put time in your goals, you're gonna reach those goals. Mm-hmm. And if you're a clever person, if you think what you want to do without closing your eyes and going into that, you're gonna do it really good. It's training. It's training. It's train your mind, train your body, understood the physics of things.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's not just close your eyes and go.
It's like the famous video of Travis Pastrana jumping out of the airplane without a parachute. You remember that one?
Yeah.
I don't like stuff like that. I like it. It's fucking cool. But here's my point. In the video, it starts and he's hanging out in the airplane, no shirt on, shorts.
Drinking a Red Bull.
Drinking a Red Bull. Scotch, I think he throws the thing out the window or something. I mean, it's probably littering, I mean, maybe not, but I mean, maybe he throws it. But the whole thing looks careless. And it's made to look careless. But the thing that the average person doesn't see is the hours and hours. Oh, well, first off, the thousands of jumps that guy's probably done.
Yeah.
The thousands of jumps that each of his compadres who are flying with it, that they did. The friendship that those guys must have had so that they trust. So that he trusts them that they're not going to go, oh, shoot, bro, sorry, I forgot.
Putting his life on their hands, man.
Yeah, exactly. And all those things that they did to practice, probably doing several jumps with him having a parachute
and them strapping and practicing, all to make this careless looking video of him going, oh, screw it, I'm leaving and he jumps out.
I can think about that and think how many times he jumped with the parachute on his back without using it.
Right.
Before, jump without the parachute.
Yep, exactly.
That is the process to get into that crazy goal.
And so what you're getting at is you're saying when you started flying, you're doing this stuff that seemed crazy, but I guess the thing is to encourage people that aren't at that level to not go just try it because you make it look nonchalant.
I understand what you say, but what I can say about that is like, I have a daughter. I don't want my daughter to have without that. So every single thing that I choose to do, I'm thinking about her getting old with a dad by her side, right? Yeah. So it's not being crazy and close their eyes.
They call the term that I don't do if they use this term down there, but the term is to send it. You know that term?
No, I don't use that term. So to send it, it sounds to me like don't care about anything else. Let's do it. No, never. It's like you're
so. I remember when the first time I heard it was when I was paragliding.
Okay.
And you would go, is the wind too strong, or is like sometimes the air is very unpredictable, and you're standing on launch, and it's better to sit there for a while and get an idea of what the cycles are doing of the thermals, and the longer you sit there, the more you can know what the trend is.
Yeah.
Someone that's very sendy, they would call it sendy, would be someone that shows up and goes, why aren't you guys flying? They put their rig on and go. They don't assess, they don't sit, they don't think. They send it.
Okay, but I can see two types of persons that could be sended. The ones that are not clever enough or the ones that have a lot of experience. I see a gap between those.
Yeah. Well, and what you're saying though, and I'm complimenting you in a way, is I'm saying that it seems like the guys that are like the snowboarders and the sort of the X Games type, they seem sendy.
Okay.
But they're not.
They're alive.
They're not. They're expert risk takers.
Okay.
Absolute
I believe that. Yeah.
And anyone that does snowboarding tricks or any of that stuff, you're an expert risk taker.
Maybe. It's the first time I hear that thought, but could be, yeah.
And it seems to me like that's kind of how you came to aviation. You're more of an expert risk taker.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, anyway, we can move on. So now you have a school and you're teaching people and you're training these bush pilots down there.
Yeah.
Are people coming from all over the world to train with you?
Yes.
How many students are you doing?
I'm not a big school. I don't want to be a big school. I want to be like a personal training center. Mm-hmm. I try not to have more than 10 students per cycle.
And what's the cycle?
The cycle is between 2 and 9 months. It depends on the time and the money of the students. Mm-hmm. We build private and we build commercial pilots. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I love about my school is to teach people to fly by feelings, not just by numbers. I thought that in this video that I told you that this was called Bush Pilots of Alaska. I didn't understand that at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Now it's my main goal to make people feel the plane. There are people that could feel it in 10 hours, people that are never going to feel it. And you can train a lot, you can teach them a lot, but there's something that you came with or you don't have.
So how would you talk to a student about that then? Because do they even need to bother if they don't come with it? I mean, like if someone doesn't have a natural ability, do they need to even go?
No, they could train to become better and better and better. And they're going to increase that level. Mm-hmm. But there is some people that could not feel, the simplest way is they cannot feel the altitude of a plane. They don't know if the plane is going up, going down, sleeping one side, sleeping the other. The guys and the girls that have that instinct, they are completely different pilots. Mm. You can read that in 20, 40 hours. Mm-hmm. And you can try to teach that. They increase their feelings, but it's completely different from the guys that came with that. Or maybe I didn't have the technique to get people into that now, but I will find that.
Yeah.
Sure. I will never forget that Alejandro is one of my chief pilots. Is the one that he's making all the tourism flights. At the beginning, every time he get into the cabin of the plane and we airborne, he feels sick. So I start researching, and this motion sickness appear, and I search how to fix that into people. So I read that riding bicycles make board balance. All those things help. And Alejandro now is one of the best pilots we
So
have.
he rides a
Brilliant.
bike around?
Yes.
You
Bike.
told him you have to bike everywhere you go?
Yes. For the next month, you have to come by bicycle. And he did it. And I give him my board balance. And at the beginning, he was trying to make balance because he never did something like that.
I did not know that. I'm wondering, man, is that a thing where you like if you have air sickness that if you work on your balance, it helps?
Of course, because what is the sickness? Your brain doesn't understand what is happening with your how do you say your
Yeah, I know.
your brain doesn't understand what is going on with your body. So you train your brain to be comfortable with that feeling that it can control. So at the beginning, I put him by the wall with the board balance, with the eyes open, the hands on the wall. He started trying to make that balance. Then with the eyes open, I asked him to remove the hands, then close their eyes, put the hands, and then close their eyes and remove the hands. And that changed everything.
Really?
Everything. And he wasn't the one, just the one. Then Martiniano, a little kid, 16 years old, he started his career. 16 and 9 months is in Argentina, the lowest age that you can start your private. And Martiniano has the same. An amazing kid. He learned extremely fast, but he gets sick. Every time we make airborne, he gets sick. I made the same procedure, and now he's a commercial pilot.
So you have a whole curriculum for people that get sick.
I know how to correct that at least.
That's
Bicycle
great.
and board balance.
Dude, that is so cool. Good on you. I think that's something that a lot of people wouldn't do. Like, wouldn't go to that trouble. You'd just like, well, you get sick. Screw you. Bye.
I want to be pro in everything that I do. I want to be good, and I research and I learn and I ask. I don't feel ashamed to ask. Hey, what you will do about this or that?
Mm-hmm. So you're a very good teacher, it seems like, because you care about your students.
I like to share my passions.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't like something, I don't want to teach that thing. Mm-hmm. But if I like something really good, I want to share that passion with people.
Do you mind me asking how many students you put through that program?
At least 17, 18. That's
17, 18. Yeah. Got it.
As I said, we are not
how many years has that taken?
From 2020 to now, 5 years.
So you got like 5 students a year?
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
From private to commercial. Then a lot of people from all around the world came to make mountain flying courses, bush flying courses, firefighting programs.
So you're saying you've done 17 commercial pilots?
From scratch to commercial, yeah.
Oh, well, that's way more impressive. Yeah. Shoot.
I still think that it's a low number, and I want to keep that low number. Yeah.
But I mean, it's pretty impressive because that's a lot of training in 5 years.
It's a lot of hours, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Are you making money on it?
Not really.
No?
I don't care about money, you know?
Well, that's stupid. You should care.
I'm so sorry.
No, but I mean, it's not like, okay, look, I care about the thing I care.
One question for you. What is making money for you?
Well, I'm not rich, so I'm not saying that you have to be rich or anything.
But what is making money? Have a big number in your bank account, or have a huge house, or several planes?
I'll tell you exactly what I think it is. What it translates to. People that say they don't care about it. I don't know what they mean by that. What I'm talking about when I say, are you making money? I mean, is this a sustainable lifestyle for you? In other words, some people, they have a business that's got a 10-year window. In other words, it's going to be 10 years before they burn out because they're overworked and they're underpaid. And they do something where they're serving other people, they're creating value in other people's lives, but they're not getting enough value back to make it sustainable. Is it sustainable for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My bank account is not growing huge. My bank account stayed pretty similar, but my business is growing because I'm putting all my money into that. And I could stay 1 month in Alaska flying with you guys. And I like my lifestyle. And That is the way that I measure being rich or not. It's like how much time could I spend doing the things that I want to do without making money from those things. And
Yeah.
in that point of view, yes, but it's not money.
Yeah.
It's time to spend on things that I want to do without making money doing those things. You get the idea? Yeah.
I get the idea. That makes sense. So you're doing well.
I'm happy.
Yeah. If I buy a Cub and ship it down there,
I would take care of it.
can you rent it for me?
You're going to make money.
Huh?
You're going to make money for that, for sure.
Could I
We
make
make
money?
this alliance. Alliance is okay. With the Jean Richmond Backcountry Aviation Foundation. That is, you know about that?
I do.
And we're bringing people to fly cabs or planes in Patagonia with the crafter guys.
What I want to do is I want to send a Cub down there. I want to buy a Cub. I want to send it down there. And I want to have you maintain it and lease it from me for your school.
Okay, first,
Can we do that?
A pair of seats like you have on your plane for mine.
I will send you a free pair of seats. But for this, if we do this deal. But I want to have the Cub down there so that when I come down in December, for the month of December, that I can fly it as much as I want. And the rest of the time you can use it, but you have to pay me per hour for using it.
Of course, yeah. You're going to get money from that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be happy that you're going to be flying down
Do you
there.
have anyone doing that?
Yeah, Tinti, Pablo, Reynaldo, I have a few.
But you, to me, you need to get people from America doing that. They send you their Cub, they send you their second Cub, you take care of it, you lease it from them.
I believe you understood the idea before I explained it to you, because that's the plan.
Okay.
That's the idea. That's the idea. There is a new frontier for you guys over there. It's free.
Yeah, and I want to bring my family. I want somewhere that I can stay there. Maybe I buy a lot from you on the thing there and have a little cottage that my family can stay in. I don't want it to cost me, like my life savings to do, you know what I mean? I can do this and have
Argentina now
be sustainable.
Argentina now is cheap, and we're in the middle of a change. We came from the last 16 years of economical chaos, and everything was extremely cheap. And this guy we have as a president right now, he's an economist, and he's a character, but he's clever enough to put Argentina in the first league. So
in the first what?
League, the first class in the first world. So prices are gonna go into the sky in the few years. Patagonia is gonna become something really expensive. So don't take too much time to take that decision.
I want to do it.
Okay, let's do it.
What else do you want to talk about today? Is there anything else that you want to talk about that you feel like, wow, we didn't... I sat down with Daniel, I was expecting to...
I would like to talk about, if it is okay with you, about the Valdis experience. Because for me, it was something like, was my dream, right?
The Valdis experience.
Yeah.
Was this the first year to go to Valdis?
This was the first year I reached Valdis, because the 2 times I came here before, the weather didn't allow me.
To even go?
For me, it's like the World Cup of stall competition. And to be there and compete and fly this carbon cab was like a dream. Was like one of the top dreams I
That's
had.
pretty cool for you that you got to fly in it too. So Cub Crafters let you fly their UL.
Yeah, they invited me to compete with their plane into Valdis. And if I didn't scratch those 2, I'm sure I could win that shit, man. So it was cool. It was really good. And it was amazing that people from the States came and say, hey, Keke, I saw you in Trans Palmer videos, and I saw your videos in YouTube. That was like crazy. Crazy.
Really?
Seeing people from Argentina that came to see Valdis in person because I was there, crazy.
So there were people that came up from Argentina?
Argentina, Mexico, Uruguay.
Because of you?
Crazy.
That's awesome.
Because of this, yeah. Because of Patagonia Bush Pilot, not me. I believe that. But it was really nice. It was an amazing
That is really
experience.
cool.
Yeah.
The thing I did not like in the beginning that now I'm okay with, when you release aviation videos, you're opening yourself up to the public forum. And I didn't like it. Because we would say, like my first podcast, the guy said, he wants to do a wide pattern for off airport, and everyone, well, not everyone, some people totally agree with him, and a lot of people disagreed with him. And I hated the drama of the argument, but now I like it. And the reason I like it is because if you come on here and you say something stupid and you have a belief system that has a bunch of holes in it, so to speak, a bunch of flaws, and you spout off your belief system on my podcast, you're going to hear about it in the comments. And hopefully, I'm not saying specifically you, whoever the guest is,
Learn about that.
Has a tough enough skin and a humble enough attitude that they can go, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. That's
And if they can do that, then they can grow. And the people that listen and that read the comments and all this stuff, they can all grow as a community. The things we say on here, I would argue, don't need to be perfect. That's the thing I wanted to do in the beginning, is make a perfect podcast that didn't make any mistakes and that only told truth and all this. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I always say that a clever person learns from their own mistakes, and a wise person learns from others' person's mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So share information, open our minds, open our experience, make everyone better. And you have to be humble, and you have to be like, you don't have to get mad if you hear things that you don't like to hear.
Yeah.
If you have those two simple things,
Yeah.
you're going to be better every time you expose yourself.
100%. And that's what this podcast is. It is a avenue for which people can have that wise mindset where it's like, oh, I'm going to bring people on.
Yeah.
I'm going to have them teach me what they did wrong, and then everyone else can learn from it. And I like hearing people's mistakes.
You know what? To learn about those things saved my life 2 times.
Tell me about it.
The first time when I switched into off my tanks, my fuel tanks, and my plane get into the water, I remember about the Sully movie, the Captain Sully landing the plane into the Hudson. And I cannot explain that at the time I was trying to land into the water, I thought, should I put flaps or not? And at that time, that part of the movie came into my brain and said, when the first officer asked Captain Sully, should I add flaps? And Captain Sully says, no. And in 1 second, I thought that if I add flaps, my plane is going to be more like nose down. Yeah, to keep the energy until the last call. So I didn't put flaps, and I didn't bend one tube of my plane. I didn't broke 1 inch of my fabric. Then when my propeller started to shake and my cabin was like crazy shaky and I cannot read my instruments, I remember one of the story that is in Daniel's book, that one tip of one propeller blow away from Cherokee 140. And what the guys do was trying to turn off the engine. Just one guy survived, the other guys died. But as soon as I remember that, I got the mixture nosed up I could not see because how shaky was the airplane until the propeller was like, fuck. Once the propeller was stopped, the plane was a glider and I could land the plane perfect. To have those ideas in the correct moments could save your life. So this information we're sharing, or those information you were sharing with your podcast, or Daniel with his book, it's a lot of information for people that could live or die. And
it is nice to hear. I when I'm flying around, I hear Kirk Ellis, one of my podcast guests.
Yeah.
I turn up a valley and I always hear, it's like a cement mixer in here. I hear the term and I go, it's like a cement mixer in here. Maybe I shouldn't go up in here, you know? Little things like that. I was flying the other day and I lost oil pressure. And I remember a podcast guest telling me that he had run his engine out of oil and the things that happened and stuff, which, yeah, duh, you know? But the story is what I instantly remember hearing, the story of it. And I said, I need to kill my engine or I'm going to ruin my engine. Before it was, you know, as it was descending, I'm like, I'm within glide of a runway. I need to just shut it off.
And
and I
You
shut it off. But it was my podcast guest that had talked to me,
about that.
and I was hearing his voice,
Yeah.
and which that's a silly thing. Both those are kind of silly, and you would say, well, you need to remember your training, right? But I remember their voices in my head way more than I ever thought I would.
Happens to me several times too. Yeah.
Okay, so we probably need to wrap up here. But did you have? So are you doing the travel and flying next year?
Yeah. Every year between the end of January and the beginning of February.
And how can people? What accommodations are there? Do you need to find lodging, or can you camp on the runway, or is it how complicated is this?
If people contact us,
Yeah.
we're gonna help them.
Help
We
them.
want traveling flying to grow. We want to help people to came. We want this to become the Valdis of South America, and just contact us. Karin
So,
or myself are
You're
gonna
on the
help.
website, you have a contact form?
We have PatagoniaBushPilot.com or Patagonia Bush Pilots in Instagram or Patagonia Bush Pilots in YouTube. Those are the three easiest way to contact us, and
Okay.
we're gonna help them. It's gonna be easy. We have a beautiful place to share with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
PatagoniaBushPilot.com.
Yeah,
Check it out.
check it out.
This is very cool.
Yeah, thank
Cool.
you, Daniel.
Thank you.
It's good. It's good.